Okay, I'm going to be reading most of this, because I've got it in segments timed, and it makes it easier to just read it instead of ad lib. So, yes, I've got to get the timings down pat. So, yeah. So here we go. Good to see everyone, all the people who are here tonight. But getting blood sugars under control may seem like an impossible task, and especially when we consider the hidden factor of stress. Stress is an ever-present part of life, but we must control it. For example, some people get stressed when a nurse checks their blood pressure at the doctor's office. White coat hypertension occurs because of anxiety, resulting in an elevated blood pressure reading. A few minutes later, when they check the blood pressure, your levels are lower because of less tension. The brain recognizes the danger when we perceive something as a threat or stressful. It releases an array of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which causes an increase in blood pressure. That was my first little segment. Yeah. Do I not have this in here? Uh-oh. What happened? Hang on a second. I don't even have a controller here. I need to figure out what button to hit. No, that's not going to work.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Is this stressful?
We're now hearing a short 911 call made by a guy clinging to the hood of a car and it speeds down the highway at 70 miles an hour. Address? Say what? What's the address? And this is what the crazy scene looks like from inside the car.
So, does that look stressful and crazy? Well, I think it is. There's different things. You're driving along at the designated speed limit, enjoying the afternoon, and you've just put your new up-to-date license tags on the car, and suddenly you notice flashing lights behind you in your rear-view mirror. Do you wonder, what have I done now? Your heart is pounding, you're trembling, your throat is dry, and the officer approaches, your pulse picks up, you're now sweating, and you feel a tension headache starting and your blood sugar is rising. So once he gets to the car door, he does something totally unexpected and shocking. He then compliments you on your excellent driving habits and gives you a gift card from a popular restaurant. And he lets you know that the police department has partnered with local restaurants to let the community know that they appreciate law-abiding citizens. Now you feel a sense of calm and peace, but your blood sugar is already spiking up. So, life is so hectic and stressful. I have so much to change and learn, but I don't think I can do it. And I have pain that just won't go away. Well, what we need is a stress reliever. We need peace of mind. It makes the body healthy. And we need peace of mind so that our bodies can be healthy. And so, does this stress affect that guy? How about his diabetes control? This guy has a peace of mind, but I don't want to be so peace of mind that I'm not cautious. Stress does affect blood sugar levels. Hold time out. I can't believe I do not have my Well, here it is.
Yeah, I thought you had it wrong.
I have it. Why isn't it working?
Does it have a battery or something? Oh, there.
Okay, I'm back to the real McCoy now. Okay. I was at Silver Dollar City and I was going to ride the giant swing. And weak was how I felt 2 hours after eating lunch at Silver Dollar City. So before getting on the swing, I checked my blood glucose and my feelings were wrong. I was just 162. And since I wasn't weak, I rode the swing with my family. And this is what I experienced on the giant barn swing at Silver Dollar City. And after the 2-minute ride, I still felt weak. And this time it was 197. My rapid increase in blood glucose was a result of stress. So how has God designed the body to face the challenges of stress? Well, first of all, epinephrine or adrenaline puts the body on full alert. And another stress hormone called cortisol gives quick burst of energy by causing the release of glucose from the liver. Doctors call them counter-regulatory hormones because they cause a resistance to the hormone insulin, which results in higher blood sugar levels. So, even when we develop new habits, doing so can cause stress. And I'm right-handed. Which attitude do you think was written by my right hand? I could develop the habit of using my left hand to write, but the process would be awkward and stressful. And the following situations can be stressful like these. Just think about it. Discussing diabetes with a non-diabetic know-it-all. Or running late for a doctor's appointment and you get stuck behind someone doing 20 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Or you're having arguments, worry, becoming frustrated in traffic, managing diabetes, etc. is stressful itself. We can bring stressful situations onto ourselves. While sitting in a waiting room to see my doctor, I noticed a couple who had become impatient. And it was true that usually the doctor would get behind on appointments. And this couple felt that they had waited long enough. I heard the husband tell his wife that he would get their car if the nurse didn't call her name by the top of the hour. And the time came without hearing her name, so he went out in a huff to get the car. And when she saw him drive up, she went out. And just a minute later, here comes the nurse calling out the name. And she said, and they weren't there, of course. So she said to the receptionist, I thought I saw them just a minute ago. No, they just got up and left in a huff. And just a little bit of patience would have made the difference. Blood sugar levels were probably rising. And this means that we need to have the virtue of patience. The patient have great understanding. Let me give you an example of this now. The following stressful example demonstrates several teachings from God's wisdom. What would you do if a tree fell on you, pinning you to the ground? The tree trunk is on your legs. You're experiencing excruciating pain, and there's no one near enough to hear your calls for help. You didn't even bring your phone with you to phone for help. Will you give up and try to endure, or try to endure? I've just described a situation that happened to a man named Jonathan outside his home in rural Minnesota. He's cutting down some trees on a Thursday, and one of the tree trunks falls on his legs. He's a teacher of English in high school, and the first day of school starts Monday. And when he doesn't even show up, he's called. He lives by himself, so his family is informed, and they look for him and find him. They immediately call the fire department, and lifting the log off his legs takes 2 hours. And so asking him how long he's been impinged, without hesitation he says 100 hours. Now, how did he know that he had been there for 100 hours? Well, his method in coping with the stress was to count the time to be able to endure. So, when a Minnesota high school teacher was pinned to the ground by the tree trunk, falling on his legs, he persevered 100 hours by trying to live for 1 hour at a time and breaking that hour into 5-minute segments. He celebrated with small victories every 5 minutes. And every 5 minutes he endured gave him living success, giving him hope. Meditating, praying, and inventing rhythms were ways of distracting himself from a situation. By doing this, he didn't panic. And the country deputy, or the county deputy, said he had the will to live, and he wasn't ready to go. I don't know many people who could survive an ordeal like that. And so he had the attitude, he had small victories, he meditated, he prayed, and he had success at the end. So a man's spirit sustains him in sickness, so says the proverb. And with these small victories, he was able to have success. And Jesus teaches us to live one day at a time. And I've heard it put this way: life is a cinch. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life's hard. We can meditate, we can pray, we can sing, we can have the right attitude, we can have small victories ourselves. That's just a picture. So, life is so hectic and stressful. I have so much to change and learn, but I don't think I can do it and have pain that won't go away. Now, how can we have the peace of mind so that our bodies can be healthy? The peace of mind makes the body healthy. How can we do that? By using God's wisdom, and here are 3 ways to do so. 3 ways. Here they are. Controlling stress with sleep, gratitude, and water. God's wisdom on sleep. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. And the result is, when you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. And one way to sleep sweetly is to focus on good things like God's wisdom. God's wisdom on gratitude. The cheerful look brings joy to the heart, and good news gives health to the body. We are thankful for the good news. And God's wisdom and water, like cold water to a weary soul, is good news from a distant land. And so water relieves a thirsty person. It is a stress reliever, just as the good news is. And we'll look at each one along with a few tips to cope with stress. So the first one is sleep. Why do we need to sleep like a baby? Well, there's the danger of drowsy drivers. Sleep deprivation brings drowsy driving. Some people claim that they can get by with just 4 or 5 hours of sleep per night. And how many hours of sleep are needed? The Mayo Clinic recommends at least 7 hours a night. Many people need to get more sleep, and 1 in 3 adults reports they sleep an average of 6 or fewer hours a night. The millions of people using Fitbit health trackers only get 6 hours and 38 minutes per night, and drowsy driving is an ever-present danger resulting from sleep deprivation. Research indicates 1 in 25 adult drivers reports falling asleep while driving in the previous 30 days. A study by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety estimated that 328,000 drowsy driving crashes occur annually. And that's more than 3 times the police reported number. The same survey found that 109,000 drowsy driving crashes results in an injury, and about 6,400 were fatal. The researchers suggest that the prevalence of drowsy driving fatalities is more than 350% greater than reported. So do you see the importance of sleeping like a baby? When we sleep, we're not dreaming and just wasting time. God has designed our bodies to use that time to stay in good health. Several processes happen as we sleep. According to the National Sleep Foundation, such health benefits as muscle repair, memory consolidation, and release of hormones regulating growth and appetite are happening. This prepares us to concentrate and make decisions for all daytime activities. What are the stages of sleep? There's 3 of them. These stages repeat throughout the night in 90-minute cycles. And our bodies are, as the psalmist says, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, Psalm 139. Fitbit health trackers have divided sleep into 3 stages. There's light, deep, and REM. And here's another graphic of this. This is another view of the 3 stages of light, deep, and REM sleep. There's activities, really good activities that are happening as we sleep. Imagine a maintenance crew working during the light stage. During light sleep, body maintenance keeps a perfect balance. Homeostasis of all